So here's the dilemma you face. Game day is coming up. Super Bowl is in just a few days. It's 15 degrees outside, 10 degrees outside, snowing, icy. Are you gonna wanna pull out the grill or the smoker? Yeah, maybe you will, but most people probably would like an alternative to making barbecue beef without smoking up a chuck roast out there, because that's my preferred way to do it, to smoke up a nice chuck roast out on the grill, bring it inside, shred it, add barbecue sauce, build those barbecue beef sandwiches. Well, we're gonna do it different today. We're gonna go the super easy method. We're using the slow cooker. Now you wanna give yourself a good 8 to 10 hours for this. Probably plan on 10 because we're gonna be doing it on low. And that usually for say a 4-ish pound chuck roast is gonna take between 8 and 10 hours on low. Now you could crank it up to high, but I'd prefer low. It just gives a little more time, that fat to render without hitting it with all that heat at once. But definitely that's up to you. Now first, we're gonna build a base of flavor in here. We're gonna use just a little bit of liquid, 3/4 of a cup of beef broth. To this, I'm gonna add about 2 tablespoons of a spicy brown mustard, 2 tablespoons of Worcestershire sauce, 2 teaspoons of kosher salt, 1 teaspoon of a coarsely ground black pepper, 1 teaspoon of granulated garlic, 1 teaspoon of smoked paprika, and half a teaspoon of chili powder. Let's mix this up in here. And if you wanted to get some more smoky flavor to sort of replicate what's out on the grill or the smoker, you could add maybe half a teaspoon of liquid smoke to this, but I'm not going to. I like the flavor in this just as it is, because really what we're gonna be adding later is barbecue sauce, not at this stage. We're actually gonna take this chuck roast until it's tender and shreddable. We're gonna get it out of here, shred it up, put it back in with barbecue sauce then for probably another 45 minutes to an hour, really to come together as that barbecue beef mixture. So let's get our chuck roast in here. As I said, this is about a 4-pound USDA choice chuck roast. And what I wanna do now is I'm gonna roll it over in here, get the seasoning on all the sides. All right, I've got my timer set for 10 hours. About 7 hours, I'll check it to see how we're doing. Temperature set on low. Gonna get the lid on here and let this start and just let it keep going. I'm not gonna check it, like I said, for 7 hours, so I'll see you back here later today. So we have just hit the 7-hour mark on this chuck roast for our easy barbecued beef. In fact, during that time, I filmed a whole other video. So it's nice, you just let it go. And even though I'm pretty sure it's not done yet, I want to check it at this point, and we'll just see how tender it is. Also just kind of for, not really fun, but just information purposes to see the internal temperature, because it's really about tenderness. Internal temperature at this point is almost immaterial because it could be 200 degrees and still not be tender enough. You gotta wait till it's tender. Look at that. It's always strange to me how you end up getting a nice color on it without having any time on the grill or the oven, really any exposure to kind of hot air, but it does get that. So first thing I want to do is I've just got a nice sturdy fork. I want to stick it in here and turn. And I can still feel a little bit of resistance. You can see that's pulling apart a little bit nicely there. If you want to, you can actually take a taste right now. In fact, let's do that. Just get a little side piece here. See, that pulls apart pretty nicely. Give it the traditional cool down. Here we go. Good flavor. I mean, it actually is doing really nice in the tenderness department, but it will benefit by going that extra hour to that full 8-hour mark. But what I want to do right now actually is I want to turn this over. I'm going to take a set of tongs here. There we go. So we're going to get the lid back on. We'll let this go another hour. We'll check it, but as tender as it felt and tasted right there, it wasn't tasting dry. I'm thinking we might just get it at the 8-hour mark. Then we will take it out, get rid of the juice in here. We pull the beef, we'll put it back in here with some barbecue sauce, let it go for, anywhere from 30 minutes to an hour just to sort of come together. Then we'll build those barbecue beef sandwiches. But first, another hour for this. All right, we are at the full 8-hour mark now. And so I want to go ahead and I'm going to give it a quick little check, but I'm pretty sure based upon what we were at the last time I checked at the 7-hour mark, we're going to be ready to shred this, pull it apart, add it to some barbecue sauce and get it back in here after we remove the excess juice. So let's take a look. Looking good. I mean, that color on the top, I'm always amazed by that. It just develops in here in the moist heat. Even after just flipping it an hour ago, that dark color has developed. Now I mentioned at the 7-hour mark about checking the temperature and I didn't do it, so let's just kind of just for fun see what it's at right now. Get down in there. So you can see, I think, that we are at 203 on this chuck roast. Well, let's just get the fork down in here. Yeah, that is very, very tender now. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and transfer this to a pan, get the juice out of here, and then we'll go ahead and pull that beef, get it all nice and shredded up so we can get it back in. All right, so I have insulators under my nitrile gloves here so I don't burn my hands. This is extremely hot still. And I reserved, I don't know, maybe half a cup of the liquid that I took out of the slow cooker. That's if we need to add any more when we're gonna be adding the barbecue sauce in the slow cooker. So let's get in here, shred this up. Oh yeah, that is tender. Very happy with this. You can see I didn't have to do much pulling on this at all. It just came apart. All right, let's get this back in the slow cooker, add our sauce, maybe a little liquid, give it about, I'm guessing with this tenderness, it's really just gonna take about 30 to 45 minutes for that barbecue sauce to come up to temp with this, and then we're gonna be ready to build some sandwiches. We're just gonna get our beef back in here. This would also be a good time if you wanted to add some other things to this, maybe some chopped up onions or anything like that you didn't want to cook completely down during the whole process. Now the barbecue sauce I'm going to be using today is a Kinder's Organic Roasted Garlic Barbecue Sauce. This is a 20-ounce bottle. I'm probably going to use about half of it in here to start. We're just going to stir this all in here. I am going to add a little bit of our liquid back in here, which does have some fat with it, maybe about a 1/4 cup. Now my slow cooker is set on warm right now because it's still really hot from having been on low for 8 hours. And I'm going to put the lid on here, let this go, like I said, 30 or 45 minutes. Then we're going to build our sandwiches. And I reserved barbecue sauce. I didn't use the whole bottle because we're going to want to put some on top of this when we build the sandwiches, along with a couple other things we're going to add. Really, this is about customizing it to the way you like your barbecue beef sandwiches. You can put anything you want on them. I'll show you what I'm going to put on them in just a little while. Nothing left to do now but build our barbecue beef sandwich. I have a brioche bun I'm using. I toasted both the top and the bottom. Let's start building this. And like I said, this is where you can put anything you want on it. You'll see what I'm going to put, but we're going to start with that barbecue beef. Get a good pile on here. Nobody's escaping today. And even if my cutting board gets more messy, I'm going to put some more sauce on this. Next up, some thinly sliced red onion rounds here. I want to go with some marinated fire roasted red peppers. Because why not? Finally for me, a couple nice fresh dill pickle slices. And now I'm going to crown this. And there we have it, our Gameday barbecue beef sandwich made from that easy barbecue beef using the slow cooker. Again, if you want to go out in cold weather and smoke a chuck roast, go for it. There are a lot of people that don't want to. I'm fortunate here where I live, I could do it if I want to, but a lot of people have asked for this recipe, an inside barbecue beef chuck roast recipe that's easy, and that's what this is. Now, let's dive in. All right, let's dive into this. I could cut it in half and play this safe, but I'm just gonna make a mess of this whole thing. Here we go. Is there any on my face? Yeah, don't wear your best white garments when you're eating this. Don't serve it at a fancy wedding. But any other occasion, especially game day, this is a winner.